Hey, bodybuilding.com. This is Cisco Gonzalez, and this is my official entry into the bodybuilding.com Spokesmodel Search 2016. A little bit about myself, my fitness journey. I suspect it's very similar to a lot of you, inconsistent. And when I say a lot of you, I mean, I suspect that 80% of us on bodybuilding.com are just trying to get it in better shape, right? And that's what brought me to it. And for many years, my journey was up and down. I was trying to build a career, build a family. I had a daughter, I had a son. I moved all over the country, and even though I had the desire to be in shape, I was never able to get the consistency in place. And so for me, I think rock bottom hit around 2009. I was on a business trip heading up north, and I remember pulling off to get something to eat. And for me at the time, it was McDonald's. And I remember my meal was the number 3 supersized with a Coke, because for 39 cents, you got to supersize it, right? And I remember getting onto the highway and munching on my fries, and I'm drinking my supersized Coke, and I sip on that Coke, and I take my supersized Coke, and I set it on my supersized belly. And I look down, and I'm like, what the? And I'm not going to repeat what I said because it's inappropriate for children, but I made a decision then that it was time to change. I needed to change. It had to stop. Because, 6 years before, my dad had had a heart attack, and I had told myself, I don't want to find myself in that position. I want to be around for a long time. I want to be around for my kids. So what happened was that I started focusing on working out. And I committed from that day. There were 2 things I remember I committed on. One was I was going to give up sodas. And it took me a while to give them up, but I did give them up. And 2 was I'm going to focus on working out. And really was just get to the gym twice a week. Very small goals. And what happened was that over the years, my workouts evolved. So I went from 2 to 3 to 4 times a week to what it is today. And many of you know me, and I'm consistent. I mean, that is one of the things I can definitely say. I may not be the strongest, and I may not be the biggest, but I am consistent. And I think that that's key. The part that I hadn't worked out yet was the eating. That came around 2013, and that happened when the Cellular Challenge came around. I ran across it, and I said, what the heck? I'll jump in. And at the time, I was at 185 pounds when I started. I got to 175 pounds and 10% body fat. And I thought, oh my gosh, I'm in fantastic shape. This is awesome. I can keep this all the time, indefinitely. I mean, this is no worries. 3 months later, I'm at 184 pounds and 14% body fat, and I'm like, scale, you're lying. This is wrong. You're a liar. And then a few months after that, I'm at 193 pounds and 17% body fat. And I'm like, Cisco, what's going on? You know what you need to do. You just needed to keep doing what you were doing before, just some habits. And so what happened was I joined the Transformation Challenge in 2014, and I committed to figuring out what some of those habits were. So I got down to 7% body fat, probably one of the best shapes of my life. And what happened was I knew I was going to gain some weight, but I also knew that if I kept some habits, or at least I suspected, hey, focus on some habits that work for you, I should be able to keep a certain range and stay in a certain body fat and body weight year round and feel good about myself all the time. Because I realized that I liked being leaner. And so fortunately, that's around when the daily abs started. Some of you know me for that. Fortunately, it worked, and I've been able to stay within a certain range since that time. So I think if I were to be the spokesmodel, that's what I would focus on, because I don't necessarily think that, personally, I think 80% of the people on bodybuilding.com and body space have never stepped on a stage and probably never will. Maybe they will, but I suspect we are here to stay in shape, to feel good about ourselves. And that doesn't necessarily mean we want to get down to 4 or 5% body fat, because that's just a moment in time. I'd rather feel good about myself all the time. And that focus needs to be habits. And I think if I can help people to figure out what the habits are that work for them year round and get them on that journey, I think that would be cool. I think that would be really cool.